Welcome back to the Wholesome Dog Life. I recently had the opportunity to interview a registered breeder who works with Great Danes. The interview should give you a good idea of what makes a good breeder. If you have any other questions, you're welcome to leave them down below and I will answer them gladly. As you can see from the interview, a good breeder is happy to answer any questions and they don't have anything to hide. Enjoy the interview and let me know what you think of it.
I'm Angelique Scheffler and I'm from LEGENDAR Kennel. We started out as Great Dogs and then changed over to LEGENDAR when we moved over to Kusa. It's 8 years now, yeah. My grandmother and grandfather had Great Danes for a very long time and they bred them for a while. And I fell in love with them from there on, and I always said that I will one day have Great Danes of my own. They are a good match for people, but they're not a good match for all people. They are big, so you need to train them from as a puppy, because what I tell owners usually is that what you allow them to do as a puppy, they will do as a big dog. So if you think it's cute for your doggy to sit on your lap, yeah, your puppy will sit on your lap and they will end up sitting on your lap when they are 80 kilos. And yeah, so it's not for everyone. They are good with kids. They are family dogs. They're not an ornament to be in the yard. They want to be part of the family because they do get the breast quite easily, actually. So if you can provide a home for them to be part of your family and don't mind the slobber, because they will slobber. It's not no one can tell you that no, this one won't as much as the others. They do. Harley actually shook her head the other day while I was on the phone and I saw the gual coming through the air. Yeah, and it hit the wall behind me. Luckily not my eye. So yeah, if you can deal with the slobber and you can deal with a couch potato and the table surfing and you don't mind all of that, then Great Dane might be a good fit for you. If you're gonna get a fit for a little dog hair or slobber or whatever, then rather look for something else, because it's not going to be a fit. But they are very loving and they need you as much as you need them, and that's why they do make good companions. I think there's a lot of good breeders, especially ones that I've gotten to interact with recently. And compared to them, I'm kind of still new. So I think I do have a way to work with people that I think that sets me a bit aside. I'm a little more patient sometimes than some of the breeders I know. I'm willing to support anyone, whether they have bought a dog from me or not. I will tell you, you made a big mistake, but now let's see what we can do with this. But there's other breeders that will do that as well. I love what I do. I don't do it for the money in it. I just really like, because there's no money in it, to be honest. FMB can tell you that. Yeah, so for me, I love what I do. It's more than just a hobby. I can't imagine my life without them in any way. And to raise them is even more special. And there's something about the fact that you leave something behind. You build something. It's like building a house, and you are setting the foundation for breeders to follow after you, even after you are for long gone. If you did it right today, many generations from now, there will be new breeders that works with the stuff that you started on. So that's very important. And it's also a lot of stress, because you know, if you make mistakes, your mistakes might end up not having an impact on you yourself, but have an impact on someone 10 years from now. So that's why it's quite important to think before you do. I have Pluto. He turned 4 yesterday, actually. Quite big boy. I bought him from Arena Vele that had Van Hovegen and Great Danes. So he was my second Kusa dog. And yeah, he's a big boy with a soft heart. And he always lets me think of a big toddler. He's just all over mostly, but he's not misbehaved. I think with Pluto, the moment he arrived here, I knew I'm in for quite a challenge because of his size. He wasn't the normal small Great Dane puppy that I've seen all the time. He was quite huge. And then with Harley was my first actually. She's 5 now. And yeah, Harley has always been a little ADHD, I think. If there was a dog ADHD, I think that would describe her. When she arrived here, I had my macaw inside the house. And the idea was to like socialize them so that they can all get along. And I ended up with Harley pouncing on the macaw's tail, the macaw turning around to bite Harley. So it was quite a show, and we decided not to do that again. And then ever since, she's actually my brat. I can't argue with that. She sits on my lap when we go to the vet. She sits on my lap, but she's got quite a personality. And Rola and Cleo and Score, I only got recently. They were handed over to me from another breeder that is going through some personal stuff. So they are quite new here, and even though I'm still getting to know them in all the aspects, me and Rola have especially bonded. When she arrived here, she was kind of unsure, and then she attached to me out of everyone, and she just decided that she's going to follow me wherever I go. And she does. I have no privacy. When she's inside, she follows me to the bathroom. She follows me to wherever I go, and she sleeps right next to my bed. Cleo, strangely enough, she bonded with my daughter more than with anyone else. So even when she comes in, she's going straight to Caitlin's room, nowhere else, and that's where she feels comfortable. And Score we are still working on, although she has started to get used to us a bit. Rola is almost 2 years old, Cleo is 6, and Score is 3. So 2 of them are still young, and Cleo will retire this year. It will be her last. And then Freya. Well, Freya is quite an accomplishment for me because she is from the first time that I've imported any sperm, which I got from the Netherlands. Her father is no doubt about it, and he's a champion on that side. And yeah, so that was quite nerve-wracking to do that because it's a lot of money, and you really need to trust the breeder on the other side to make sure that, well, you don't really know them, you can't go there and see them, so you need to go on their word. And to pay all that money over there's always a chance that you do it and you never see what you bought. So we did it, and eventually the sperm arrived here, and we used it with Cleo, which we got 3 puppies from, and I kept Freya, so she's like my first step into a whole new world, can you say? And we also recently started showing, and yeah, a new adventure for Legendar at the end of the day. Well, no matter where you go, ask a lot of questions. Ask to see the health tests. Ask where they are registered. Ask for the member number so that you can check it with Kusa. There is a lot of scams out there. So if it's at all possible, send someone you know or go there yourself. View the dogs. View the environment that your potential puppy will grow up in. Some breeders will send you all the nice pictures, but they won't show you the nasty. And every breeder has a nasty. It's nature, so stuff happens. So ask them about the things that they have encountered throughout their breeding time. If a breeder tells you no, we have never had any trouble, run in a different direction, because they're lying to you. No breeding program goes without hiccups, even the best of them. And I think another very important thing is make sure that your breeder is willing to take the dog back if anything should happen. I mean, whether that might be a financial situation or whatever. The moment you can't keep your dog anymore, you need to be able to give it back to a breeder, because most good breeders won't want their dogs to be in a shelter. And they won't be in a shelter if the breeder does it the right way. Yeah, so the thing is just a lot of questions. And if a breeder can't provide what you ask, just don't. Don't do it, because you will cry later. And if you don't get the support and the answers that you need while you are actually waiting for a puppy, you are not going to get the answers and the support after you have the puppy. Oh, we give them a lot of individual attention. They don't just get the attention in the litter. So we do some puzzle play with them and like to expose them to different environments, whether that's in the house or in the yard. Which one thing that was quite noticeable was during COVID, the lockdown, the puppies that I had in that time were a lot more skittish than they usually are, just for the sake of, because they were interacting but only with us. They didn't get any people from outside to come play with them, because usually I encourage owners to, when they book their puppy, to come and visit the puppy from a very small age, so that they can, because they don't only just play with their puppy, they play with all the puppies, so they get used to all that little smells and stuff, so they tend to be more social. We start out with feeding in one bowl, but then later we move on to feeding each of their own bowl, trying to eliminate food aggression and competitiveness. I think it's quite successful. You do end up to direct them constantly. And yeah, then we also start out with them in a way to try and start a potty training thing. It's not 100%, so you won't get a dog that's house trained. You just get a puppy that is already started on knowing where to go. And yeah, so I think it just makes it easier for them to adapt to a new home at the end of the day. My first litter was a nightmare, where it started off with a batch of puppies, 13 of them, with giardia, because mom drank water from a fish container that had some wood in, and it was probably in there. And then, yeah, so we raised 13 puppies by hand in 2 swimming pools in my room. Yeah, so that was quite interesting. And I think most people would have just quit there. Because Giardias is a parasite, so if you have 1 sick puppy or 2 sick puppies, you get an entire litter of sick puppies. So the moment that 1 puppy is sick, you need to always quarantine into that section. So I had 1 pool with all the sick puppies and 1 pool with all the healed puppies, and we rotated in between. And it took some time to actually get rid of it, and eventually we did. And yeah, so we pulled through 9 of the 13, which was quite a good number. And yeah, they they survived, and some of them are still going. So yeah. For me, you can WhatsApp me, you can phone me, you can email me. I am slow on my emails, so yeah. You can inbox me on Facebook. Eventually I do get around to answer them. Yeah, if you want to chat to me on WhatsApp, that's also fine. My website do have some information regarding to colors and food and stuff like that, so you can read up on it. And I'm available for the guys that buy from me for the rest of that dog's life, no matter if they have to add the puppy for a month or 10 or 12 years later. It doesn't matter.